I entitled this Planet Petroleum. So here are some artifacts from the early petroleum industry. This is called a jug. So it's a seismic detector. Obviously it's called a jug because it looks like a jug. So it was the workhorse of the seismic industry. Here's an early seismograph. And these are what's called string harps. And they show as it goes up and down. And here's a submersible geophone. And here's some pictures of different places back in the day that they were going for oil. Africa was a big one. Didn't know that you didn't have to go across the world to find oil, that we were sitting on everything. And this is what a geophone looks like in real time as it's going across. So this would be 14 and 23 seconds, which is our current time. And I'm making a spike here. That's me stepping on it's me stepping. Now watch, I'm going to step right here. It's going to cause a spike. So they've got this measuring here. It's not that hard to do. So this would be like an earthquake. So here's another one. I'll step back a little bit and do it. Now I'll do it less hard from either further away. See, it took a little while for it to read it. So remember that the inverse square law applies. The further away you have the power. It's an inverse square. And here are some other geophones from the 50s. And the reason I want to use this as a backdrop, not all petroleum is from dead animals. They like to call it fossil fuels. So during one of the Geneva Conventions, not the one that you're thinking of, that's the main one that everybody remembers about war and troops and everything, but there was a lot of conventions in Geneva, and one of them they declared oil to be a fossil fuel. Now this was by a guy named Colonel Fawcett went there, and he was an agent of the Rockefellers. And the reason they wanted it declared a fossil fuel is because there was two reasons. The cover story was that they thought because the first way most people saw oil was in tar pits, like La Brea tar pits. So animals would slip into the La Brea tar pits and couldn't get out. Well, they'd see those bones up there pretty high, so they think, aha, animals die and they turn into oil. Well, animals under pressure, their carcasses do squeeze into oil, much like, well, totally different actually from the way plants are pressed into coal. Now, you can infer that, but there's naturally occurring oil in the earth. You know, there's Titan supposedly has an atmosphere of methane, or were there cows up on Titan? No. So there's different ways you can make hydrocarbons, and they'll go into fields that they've capped off after decades just to see what's going on, and they partially refilled. So and the Russians drill ultra deep wells in the middle of the continent. We're talking, you know, 18,000 feet. How did dinosaurs get in the middle of a continental plate and get buried down there? The answer is they didn't. So if you want to check out some stuff germane to that, check out the Kola Ultra Deep well, which was the deepest well drilled up until recently. And it only got beat by about 50 feet by the Saudis, but the data there is different from what was expected. Anyway, not all oil is biotic. The vast majority of it is abiotic, meaning it didn't come from a living creature. So we live on Planet Petroleum, and we're not going to run out of oil. Hubbard's peak was proved wrong. You've heard of peak oil, what's actually a shortened for Hubbard's peak. And Hubbard predicted the oil production would peak around, I think, 72 or 74, and it would never catch up again. Well, obviously he's wrong. Fracking, they find oil literally all the time, and you know, they say, okay, we've got 50 years of oil and it's going to drop off, and then we get 30 years into that, and then we say, well, we found another thing, and it just keeps going on and on. So you can call it fossil fuel all you want. If you really wanted to call something fossil fuel, you could call coal fossil fuel, since that's all made by plants. So oh, and in a lab you can make coal within a week, maybe less now. We did it within a week. So just a lot of hot water under pressure, and you can turn wood into, you can coalify it. And I have been personally in the Powder River Basin coal mine, where you can go in. It's unexplainable by science. It's, you know, 50 miles deep. It's, you know, hundreds of yards high and 1,000 yards across. You can go in mile after mile, and you will see, if you look up at the ceiling, you can see like a dinosaur footprint in the coalified wood. So as it was getting down, a dinosaur stepped on it and pressed his foot in there. And you can also see unfossilized dinosaur bones in there. That's also verboten. It's not allowed to be talked about, but it happens. And so nobody can figure out how this pure thing happened, but there is an explanation for it. And I need you to look into the work of Kent Hovind, Ken Ham. I've got more on timbosplace.com. Look up polonium halos. The man that did the studies on polonium halos will explain coalification. His name is Robert Gentry. He did work with the Department of Energy. I went to several symposiums. I don't even know if he's still alive now, but anyway, his name is Robert Gentry, and he did the groundbreaking work on polonium halos for dating bedrock for the Department of Energy. And he'll show you how they if you look up his stuff on YouTube, you'll find out how they do coalified wood. And anyway, yeah, you've been lied to about the history of the world, and just about everything you've been lied to. So anyway, check out, like I said, Robert Gentry. Oh, by the way, Trey Smith has great videos also about dinosaurs and stuff like that. But specifically for the oil, you want to check out Robert Gentry. And please like, share, and subscribe. It would really help me. Thank you. I'm out.